So we're already on to our final beautiful business speaker. If you were here, I think it was about 2 years ago now, you will already have seen him on one of our beautiful business panels, but he is back by popular demand. Ryan Hall founded Friday Solved, who help people to solve sales in a way that is sustainable and scalable. Try saying that 5 times fast. So today, Ryan is here to help us connect the dots between sales and marketing, which I know is something that is in high demand at the moment. So please can we give Ryan a very warm welcome?
Hello. What an amazing venue. Is the microphone working okay? Thank you for having me, firstly. I'm not sure it was backed by popular demand. Maybe it's just ran out of people to get on the stage, but I'm really, really grateful to be here. When the beautiful people at WOW contacted me and said, would you like to come and talk at the BenchPress event? I was like, yeah, that sounds great. I'd love to be on stage. Would you like to come and talk about sales? I was like, I'd love to come and talk about sales. Would you like to come and talk about sales and marketing? I was like, well, what's the relationship like between sales and marketing? Now, they are ultimately totally symbiotic, or at least they need to be. Imagine a capybara riding an alligator, kind of like the kind of beautiful imagery. The problem with sales and marketing is most of the time they're misaligned. They aren't connected. They're operating more like Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck rather than anything that's actually connected inside your business. And that's a major problem because you have a marketing team on one side generating interest and performing some brilliant work, I'm sure, to try and elevate your brand, create interest, create awareness. Then you have the sales team on the other side who are more interested in generating revenue. Now, the problem between those two elements is the two strategies, the two cultures, and also the two teams very rarely connect at that point as well. And that is going to be a major problem when it comes to trying to generate scalable, predictable, and sustainable revenue and kind of build your pipeline off the back of that as well. So the challenge around misalignment is how can we bring those two teams together culturally, from a process perspective, from a strategy perspective? Because when you do get those teams working harmoniously, symbiotically together, the results are phenomenal. If you look at any sales team, what are they actually going out to market with? Are they literally going out to their prospect base, looking at whatever's assigned to them or in the current pipeline from a CRM perspective and going, have you got an update? You've got an update. You've got an update. Can I have a meeting? Can I have a meeting? Can I have a meeting? Now, without fuel, a sales team can't deliver any level of sales experience. They can't attract a prospect in. Yes, they might have some clever words and some hooky little tricks up their sleeves, but actually prospects, certainly sophisticated ones, will see through that really, really quickly. Now, if you look at where we are today with the BenchPress report, the BenchPress report is a phenomenal act of marketing. It's beautifully presented. The event's here. It's been well marketed. The communication's phenomenal. Obviously, the content is incredible. Now, imagine trying to do a sales job for an accounting practice that therefore doesn't have all of this amazing fuel or fodder to try and drive engagement with their prospect base. They're basically back to that position of just going, have you got can I have an update? Have you got a meeting? Can I have a conversation with you? But there's no real value. There's no kind of reason for that prospect to engage that salesperson, which is why the two teams need to work so well together. But likewise, from a marketing standpoint, the marketing team, yes, can get insights from reports and internet and AI and all this kind of stuff. But no one knows the market better than a salesperson because they are out there talking to prospects on a day-to-day basis about the problems that they're having. So again, without the sales team being able to feed back into the marketing engine, you're really missing the opportunity to bring genuine insights back into the messaging that's coming out through the marketing channel as well. And that's often where the misalignment happens. Now, to help support creating that alignment, it needs to start at a propositional level. What the business needs to do is focus on market challenges that can be agreed. It's common language, common understanding. The sales team know what the problems are. The marketing team understands the same problems. And that's the first point of alignment that we can start to bring those two teams together as well. Now, as we start to take those problems into what we may face out in the market, we can start to create more of a solution-orientated proposition. Now, again, by creating those kind of solution points, we call them critical pillars. If anyone's read the book, you should. If you haven't, go and buy it. It's on Amazon. There's these things called critical pillars, which are not service-led. So again, in the report today, we've been hearing a lot about kind of value-based positioning, niching, can be very clear on where the value comes from. Within these critical pillars, the marketing and sales team can align intrinsically behind a problem that also meets a solution that can then talk to your market audience. And again, if you can build that into both the sales strategy and the marketing strategy, it becomes a much more cohesive opportunity to drive pipeline, drive results, drive revenue, and move the business forward as well. Now, again, if you think about that context of the sales team just trying to drive revenue and the marketing team just trying to drive interest, what we need to find again is some kind of common language. Now, sales teams, it's in the name, you expect them to go out and try and sell. Marketing teams are just trying to create awareness and kind of fluff in the market, which we know is not true, but again, there's a perception of. Now, again, from an alignment perspective, what we should be really trying to consider is, what does the prospect want from us? Now, in businesses like yourselves, in high ticket, consultative, creatively led organizations and businesses, let's be honest, no one's selling anything to anyone. You can't wake up and decide to influence someone in your pipeline and force a sale. It takes time. It requires trust. It requires education. And the reality is, your prospects aren't being sold to in any shape or form. They are buying something from you as well. So again, the alignment point from a sales and marketing standpoint can really start to come together when you consider the concept of buyability. No one's marketing anything. No one's trying to sell anything. What we're trying to engineer is a joined up, cohesive experience where marketing and sales are jointly influencing your prospect base to create an environment or a chemical reaction where someone is ready to buy. And that's really where we need to start to think about how we can bring sales and marketing together. And it's around the concept of buyability, because no one's selling anything to anyone. So again, if we try and think about how we can make the sales and marketing teams work more effectively to drive results for your business and make sure next year the graph continues to go up on Peter's reports, we need to be thinking about creating a culture for our sales and marketing teams behind buyability. And that word around culture is, it's shared culture, it's shared responsibility, it's shared KPIs, it's shared meetings, it's shared relationships between the two teams to make sure they genuinely feel joined up rather than siloed from in one side of the business and the other. Because the thing that will genuinely make any sales engine, and I say sales, but mean sales and marketing, fall apart is if those two things aren't joined together and there's no glue, because you can be doing some really great stuff from a demand generation perspective. You can have the best content going out in the world. But if that messaging, that kind of concept of education, the drive towards creating this buying need in your prospect base doesn't come together, you might as well not be doing any of these things if you can't create that cohesive relationship. So from a sales and marketing standpoint, my key takeaway for you today is think about how you're helping your prospects buy from you, how you're establishing trust at every part of the funnel, whether it's top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. Have they just come across you today? How are you taking them on that journey that's handed off from something they've seen on a channel, on a screen somewhere, to the relationship that they've then had and the conversation they're having with someone who may be trying to nurture that relationship towards a position of closing. And think about how you can influence the buying decision rather than it being an act of marketing or an act of sales. So buyability is my takeaway for you today. Thank you very much for listening. Really appreciate your time.